The observer effect. How watching reality changes it. Have you ever heard the phrase, things change when you look at them? It sounds poetic, but in the quantum world, it's literally true. This is the observer effect, one of the strangest and most fascinating phenomena in modern physics. It challenges everything we think we know about reality, consciousness, and existence itself. What is the observer effect? The observer effect refers to the idea that observing a system inevitably alters its behavior. It first became famous through an experiment known as the double-slit experiment, which revealed something shocking about the nature of light and matter. When scientists fired electrons or photons through two slits without observing them, they behaved like waves, creating an interference pattern, as if they passed through both slits simultaneously. But when a detector was placed to observe which slit the particle went through, the interference pattern disappeared. The electrons started behaving like particles, choosing one slit or the other. So just the act of observing changed the outcome. This experiment shattered classical physics and introduced us to the bizarre world of quantum mechanics. Why does observation change reality? In the quantum realm, particles like electrons exist as probability waves. Not solid objects, but clouds of potential outcomes. This state is called superposition, where a particle exists in multiple possible states at once. When an observation or measurement occurs, this wave of possibilities collapses into a single definite state. In other words, observation determines the outcome. Some physicists argue that it's not the conscious observer that causes the collapse, but the measurement apparatus, the interaction itself. Others, like Eugene Wigner and John von Neumann, believe that consciousness plays a direct role in turning probabilities into reality. This debate still divides physicists today. Real-world examples. The observer effect isn't limited to quantum physics. It appears in our everyday measurements too. In physics labs, measuring a system can disturb it. For example, checking the pressure of a tire releases a tiny bit of air, slightly changing the pressure you're trying to measure. In thermodynamics, inserting a thermometer changes the temperature of the system. Even in biology, observing animal behavior can influence it, a phenomenon called the Hawthorne effect in psychology and sociology. But nowhere is it more profound than in the quantum world, where observation doesn't just disturb the system, it defines it, consciousness and the observer effect. When we're working or typing without knowing anyone is watching, we tend to perform naturally and with ease. Yet the moment we realize someone is observing us, we become self-conscious and our performance changes. This happens because we want to appear perfect in front of others, driven by our fear of judgment. Interestingly, if we're unaware of being observed, even if someone is watching, we still perform well. This raises the question, what power does observation alone hold? The confusion often comes from the fact that observation means two different things in two different contexts. In quantum physics, observation equals any interaction that extracts information from a system. It doesn't require a human mind. Even a detector, camera, or photon bounce counts as observation. Here, to observe means to measure, not to watch. In physics, the observer's knowledge doesn't matter. What matters is interaction at the quantum level, something physically measuring the system. In human psychology, observation equals being watched or judged by another person. This involves self-awareness, ego, fear of judgment, and social consciousness. It's not physical interaction, it's mental interference. When you know someone is observing you, you enter a state of self-monitoring. Your brain's prefrontal cortex becomes more active, analyzing your every move. The amygdala, fear center, also activates, increasing anxiety and self-consciousness. Findings: when tasks are simple or well-practiced, observation improves performance, social facilitation. When tasks are complex or new, observation impairs performance, social inhibition. So the presence of an observer affects your neural state, not the physics of your actions. The power here lies in your awareness of being observed, not the observation itself. When you pay attention to something, you don't just record it, you also react to it emotionally and mentally. That reaction changes your body chemistry, hormones, heart rate, neural signals, and your behavior. These changes radiate outward through your tone, expression, choices, and even your electromagnetic field generated by tiny, measurable signals from your heart and brain. So your awareness emits influence instead of only detecting reality. That's why it's called a vibrational emitter. Not magic energy, but the sum of your mental, emotional, and physical signals that ripple into your surroundings. So when spiritual traditions say, focus on good and you attract good, they're not talking about collapsing probability instantly like in a lab. They're talking about gradually tuning your energy, mindset, and behavior to align with certain outcomes. This line isn't about bending physics. It's about how attention shapes experience. When you focus on good things, gratitude, calm, opportunity, three things happen. Neurological, your reticular activating system, ERAS, in the brain filters billions of daily signals and highlights the ones matching your focus. You literally notice more good because your brain prioritizes it. Behavioral, a positive mindset makes you act friendlier, more open, and more confident. People respond better, opportunities increase. Energetic, emotional. Calm, grateful emotions reduce cortisol and heart rate variability, which others subconsciously sense. Environments mirror your state. This feels like attracting good. So the saying means, by changing your internal frequency, thoughts plus emotions plus actions, you align with better external results. It's not instant quantum collapse. It's gradual psychological and energetic tuning. So, in the quantum world, observation changes the state of matter. In the human world, observation changes the state of mind. So when you ask, what power does observation alone hold? The answer depends on what kind of observation we're talking about. In physics, it holds the power to turn possibility into physical fact. In psychology, it holds the power to turn comfort into self-consciousness. In spirituality, it holds the power to turn chaos into meaning. Observation, in every layer of existence, is a bridge between potential and experience. In physics, observing an electron makes it pick a single state. In consciousness, holding a clear intention makes you pick a single direction out of many possible life paths. Physics shows how observation affects matter. Spirituality shows how observation affects meaning and manifestation. Both are true. They just operate on different frequencies of the same truth. What does this mean for us? The observer effect teaches us that we're not just passive viewers of the universe. We're participants. Every choice we make, every observation we take part in, influences reality in ways we may not fully understand, from the smallest particle to the largest galaxy. The act of awareness itself might be the bridge between possibility and manifestation. It challenges us to rethink what it means to see, measure, or even exist. Maybe reality isn't something happening to us. Maybe it's something happening through us. So the next time you look at the world around you, remember your observation isn't neutral. It's an act of creation. In the words of physicist John Wheeler, we are not only observers, we are participants in bringing about what appears to be the universe. Maybe a reality begins the moment you open your eyes. This was a journey into the observer effect, where science meets the edge of consciousness. If you'd like to explore more about the mysteries of reality, stay curious and stay observing.